Okay, happy Monday. My apologies for being like extremely kind of late on this manifested Monday. Um, I was teaching a topic this morning to my students in Transform called attitude. A topic this week is all about attitude in Transform, which is a 6-week course that I lead. And I wanted to just share a couple like really some of my favorite concepts from the lesson this morning. And some of them are very basic but not very understood by so many people. Hey Nicole, good to see you on. Okay, so attitude. Our attitude tells the world what we expect in return. Okay, what we expect in return. We live up to our expectations. Others give to us what we expect of them. Okay, so we can start each day with a good attitude, but what most people do is they don't really think of their attitude and they just react or go through their day reacting to whatever happens. Okay, in other words, they begin, well, I guess on top of that, most people begin their day in neutral. Like neutral as in, I'm not exactly happy, I'm not that intentional, I'm not exactly sad, I'm not really upset, but I'm just neutral, I just am. Okay, maybe they start the day like pretty quickly, just going through the motions of whatever they need to do in that day. Okay, but they are ready to react to whatever they encounter. If they encounter good things, maybe this has happened to you, maybe you encounter good things as you go throughout your day, they'll reflect back to you, right? Our life is kind of like our environment is kind of like a mirror of ourselves, right? So if you encounter good things throughout your day, you'll reflect it back and say, oh, today's a good day. Today's a good day. Have you done this before? If you encounter bad things or just like weird moments, like, we've all done it. Something happens that triggers us and then we're like, oh, it's a bad day today. And what happens? What happens when we decide that it's a bad day or we allow those interactions, those things that happen to us, if we allow them to affect how we feel? Remember, we've talked about this before, living from the outside in versus the inside out. Okay, outside in, we are allowing our current 3D reality, what we can see, feel, whatever in our current 3D, we're allowing that to impact our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. What will happen when we continue to do that? We'll continue to create more of the same. No matter what, good or bad, whatever we focus on expands. If we say, I don't want this in my life, guess what we're doing? We're focusing on not having the thing, but we're still focusing on the thing. Okay, so it's going to continue to manifest. So instead, what we want to do is we want to be living from the inside out. Okay, that's utilizing one of our higher faculties called our imagination. It's one of my favorite faculties to utilize. And I use it all the time. My imagination, I live in my imagination and I operate from that place. Okay, so in whatever decisions we need to make, however we're showing up in our day, this is how we can change our lives. This is how we can even quantum leap our lives, right? There's a little fly around here. Okay, because otherwise, if we continue to identify through a 3D, if we continue to live as a result of, as even a victim of our circumstances or whatever, we'll continue to create more of the same, but we don't want to do that. Oh, this has happened again on Instagram. Sorry, Instagram. My phone is just not liking this heat. Oh my goodness, you guys, my devices keep overheating like crazy, especially this time of day. I am overheating. I'm like shining. I'm shining. Okay, so if we continue to, live from the outside in, we'll continue to create more of the same, just like I just said. But if we want to actually make a change, okay, we need to take a look at our attitude. We need to take a look at our habits. And remember that our thinking is heavily, heavily controlled through or by our paradigm, our programming. Okay, remember, a paradigm is basically a collection of habits that we've collected over our entire lifetime and even beyond. Okay, and so what happens there is that our thinking is not necessarily it's governed by our paradigm. And so we need to work on identifying that. We need to work on questioning our thoughts. We get to question our thoughts. We get to, as conscious beings, we get to choose our thinking. So any idea, any thought that comes to us, I do not want to eat you, little fly. Any thought that comes to us, we get to choose. Do I accept or reject it? Do I accept or reject this idea? And if it's not ideal, then let's just reject it. Okay. So it's kind of like we're almost like chameleons. When we're living our day, we're starting our day just neutral, ready to react to whatever comes our way, right? So it's so important for us to control our attitudes, to make sure they're excellent attitudes, excellent or at least good attitude, right? Our attitude towards life will determine the life's attitude towards us, right? So I was talking with my kids this morning about this, that everything operates on the law of cause and effect. Everything we say, everything we'll do will have some effect. Okay, this is also known as the karmic law. We get to choose what happens, right? Not a lot of people, I mean, not everybody believes in these laws, but I want to ask you, the law of gravity, for example, is working no matter what. No matter if you understand it, no matter if you believe it, it's still working. Gravity is going to keep you on this earth and prevent you from floating off into space. Okay, you don't need to know about it. Similarly, there's laws in the universe. There's laws all around us at all moments can be working in our favor. Okay, and sometimes we end up working against them. So the law of cause and effect, for example, everything we say or do will have some effect. This happens yes or yes, even without us knowing about it. Okay, so we get to choose the causes. The effects will always take care of themselves. We get to initiate what causes the effects and what the effects will be to the most extent, right? So everything we say or do will cause some effect, but we get to choose the causes. Okay, success can be guaranteed and will come to us every time if we live in a certain way. If we live with a good attitude. If we have a good attitude towards life, towards whatever we're doing, it can be anything. And I used the example this morning of washing the dishes. Washing the dishes, we can do the dishes in spite of, oh, I don't like doing the dishes, or we can have a good attitude. Say, oh, I'm so grateful that I get to wash these dishes. I'm so grateful that we have dishes, so grateful that I get to feed my kids, whatever it is, right? So everything operates on law of cause and effect. Like I said, I was talking to my kids about this morning, biting and pinching each other. I'm like, yeah, you were bitten because she pinched you, but then you were pinched because this happened to this. Like, that's a very basic way of explaining like law of cause and effect. And Macaulay said, no, it doesn't always, like something doesn't always happen. I'm like, well, according to the law of cause and effect, it actually does. Like at some point or another, it will come back to you, right? It's really important to live in a state of, what I put out and what I give and what I do will come back to me, right? So the natural laws of the universe are so precise that we can even, like I mentioned this morning, like we can build a spaceship, we can send it to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. We know that well, how the laws of the universe work, okay? So everything is controlled by law, just like the law of gravity. It is there, yes or yes, okay? So everything happens by law, nothing happens by luck. Really interesting, right? So I just wanted to come on and share that with you, that, ask yourself, how is my attitude? How is my attitude towards my fill in the blank, towards my spouse, towards my children, towards my work, towards maybe even something you don't like? Can you change your attitude? And it's not necessarily, again, we spoke about this morning in Transform about how, we think that we need to just go through, like most of us go through our day just doing the things we need to do, right? Checking off the list, like everybody's happy. We're just keeping everyone alive, feed the kids. Everything's done. Okay. But are we just doing the things just to do the things, or can we be doing them in a different energy, a different attitude, so that we can potentially even shift the outcome of just doing the things? So I wanted to just share that, is that ask yourself, is there any way I can shift my attitude, right? Is there anything I can do that when I am doing these things, can I do them in a different way? Can I do them in a certain way? And they'll change, right? Everything is, the energy and the intention behind something is so, so powerful, right? So is it natural for you to have a good attitude? How is your morning routine? How is your morning routine? Do you consciously choose each and every day, this is my attitude for the day? Or do you stay neutral and wait for something else to determine what is your attitude for the day? So interesting, right? And when you do get triggered, because we all get triggered from time to time, do you stay there? Do you set up camp for the day and say, today's a bad day, you rate it off? Or do you recognize that you are the only one that can shift your attitude? You're the only one that can shift your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, and you get to choose, right? So I hope that was helpful, you guys. Just a quick one today. I'm going to jump off. I'm like dying of heat here. I'm going to see you next week, but I have something really, really, really exciting coming. So stay tuned. And it has a lot to do with our morning routine. So have an incredible week, and I will see you again soon. Bye.